Hi Paula, hi Craft. My name's Naomi and today I'd like to share with you my French bread stuffed with walnuts, black sesame seeds, and of course Philadelphia cream cheese. So first of all, I'd like to start with the ingredients. I have about 2 tablespoons of black sesame seeds here. I have about 1/3 cup of chopped and toasted walnuts. And I have a store-bought ready-made dough that you can get at your local grocery store. It's about 13 inches or 11 ounces. And of course, I have 4 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. So I'm going to start out first by rolling out the dough. So what I'm going to do is, you should probably use a rolling pin, but I don't have one, so I'm going to be using the pestle part of my mortar and pestle. And if you just start in the center and just kind of roll it out a little bit. You just need it to be about, half an inch thick or so, because we're going to actually end up stuffing this. But as long as it's, enough for you to fill everything, then it's fine. So this looks pretty good. Okay, it's kind of getting into an S shape here. You just straighten it out a little bit, and then if it's starting to stick, you could always just brush a little bit of flour over it, and that should help it a little bit. I think I'm just gonna roll it out a little bit more here. There we go. Okay, now the next part, this is fun. I'm going to prepare the sesame seeds. So you can get already toasted ones, but I like to toast them again just to make sure that all the aromas and the oils kind of come out into the sesame seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop them into a pan here. And you can use a little wooden spoon to kind of toss them around and kind of shake them, give them a little toss in there. And if they're already raw, then they should start to pop a little bit. You can hear the crackling sound. And that's when you know that they're done. But if they have already been toasted, they usually won't do that, but you can kind of tell from the smell. So I'm just going to give this a little shake, make sure that they don't burn, and it's really hard to tell because they're already black. But yeah, you just want to give them a little heat, just to make sure the oils are coming out. And I think that's probably good enough. Now I'm going to drop them in my mortar. And this is the fun part. So I take my little pestle and I grind them up. And you don't want to grind them up all the way. You just want to make sure that the aromas are sort of coming out, and you can really smell it, and it smells really good. But you don't want all of the sesame seeds to get ground up. So I think that's probably good. And we are going to use most of this in here. So just really generously kind of spread it out over here onto the bread. And you want to save a little bit so you can sprinkle it on top. Okay, that looks good. Alright, next we're going to use the walnuts. And you can really use any type of nut here, but I really like the walnuts because I think it just goes so well with bread. But you can use pecans or almonds or cashews or whatever you like. So make sure you get plenty of walnuts in there. Okay, now we're ready for the cream cheese. So I have 4 ounces here, and you kind of want to make sure that it's firm, and you can just take it out of the fridge. You don't need to make sure that it's softened or anything, because it's a little easier to work with if it's nice and solid here. And I'm just going to make a line of this cream cheese all the way down. And this is going to get wrapped up in the bread like a little sushi roll. So if you like sushi, this is fun. And really when it comes out and you cut it into it, the cheese is just going to ooze out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. See, this cream cheese is already getting a little soft here. That's okay. And if you missed any areas, you can, you know, the center part is good because then it doesn't ooze out from the ends. Stick it on there. So now we're ready to roll. So you really just want to start at one end, you know, and just kind of wrap it in there, just like that. And you want to make sure that the seam side is going to be down. So just double check to make sure everything's nice and snug here. And looks good on this side. Okay, now we're going to take our reserved black sesame seeds and just kind of sprinkle the rest on top. You know, just kind of looks real pretty when it's done. And there we go. And I'm just going to cut a couple of slits in the top so that it bakes really nicely and some of the steam is allowed to come through like that. And now we're going to have to transfer this to just a regular cookie sheet. So I've already greased this. You don't want to, you know, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick. So just make sure and use cooking spray or some kind of a butter or whatever you'd like. And now this is going to go into my preheated oven for 350 degrees for about 26 to 30 minutes. Okay, it's been exactly 30 minutes. It really depends on how hot your oven gets, but you really want to start checking it from about 26 minutes. Okay, we're going to check on the bread. Wow. This is toasty and it looks really good. So, show you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is transfer this onto here, and actually I should really let it cool down for a couple of minutes, but I can't wait, so I'm just going to show you right now. That just slid off right off the pan. Okay, now what I'm going to do is cut this in half. It's really hot, so I can't touch it. And you can see the cream cheese and the walnuts. And so if you want even pieces, you want to cut it in half and then cut that in half and then cut this in maybe 3 pieces, and that'll help you get some really nice even pieces. So I'm just going to let this cool a little bit, and what I'm going to do is plate them up, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I finished plating up the rest of my bread here, and so it looks like a nice little appetizer dish. And I really wanted to take Paula's suggestion to heart, so I went out in my garden and I got some maple leaves, which are really beautiful this time of year. So I'm just going to put that on there. And there you have it. It's stuffed French bread with cream cheese, of course, walnuts, and black sesame seeds. I hope you really enjoy it. I know I am, and I'm just going to go in for a little bite here now. That is really good. It's the crustiness of the French bread and the creaminess of the Philadelphia cream cheese, along with the walnuts, the nuttiness of the walnuts and the sesame seeds. It all really blends well together, even though it's a surprising combination. But hopefully you'll try it, and you'll take it to your next party. Thanks, Paula, and thanks, Philadelphia cream cheese.